All right, good morning, gang. It's going to be a sunny and hot one today. We're at 63 degrees, and I'll say this, enjoy it while you can. We're getting up to 85 today. It is going to be, yes, sunny and hot, right back to summertime. Please don't keep your dog in the car today. Make sure your pets are at home and have plenty of water and some shade and are safe. It is so easy to get distracted when you have your pet in the car and you forget. It happens to so many of us, so just keep that in mind today. And tomorrow, too, partly cloudy tonight, 67. Tomorrow, rain and thunderstorms in the forecast, but still going to be muggy, 82. Wednesday, middle of the week, mostly sunny and 83, similar to today, just a pinch cooler. And then we get back to the scattered thunderstorms with some sun and some clouds on Thursday. Finish up the week with a little bit of cooler weather on Friday. Thursday and Friday, actually, with the sun and the clouds and the 70s, upper 70s by the end of the week. Again, Thursday and Friday. Birthdays today. Jason Fleury on the birthday list. Tina Hastings, Ralph Perkins, Scott Hutchins, Emily Quinn, Burt Wendell, Emmy Lynn, Barb Gerlach. Boy, there's a lot of people here. Nate Hausman, Emma Whedon, Dustin Bergine. I'm sure I'm screwing some of these names up, and I apologize. Sarah Sikio, Brian Smith. There's an easy one. Cecil Johnson, Janie Evans, and Cassandra Ann. Red Sox last night fell to the Blue Jays 5-3. They're going to start it up with the Reds tonight. Yankees crushed the Athletics 12-5. Blue Jays tonight. Mountaineers got to the ballpark yesterday. Ocean State and Vermont splitting the doubleheader and the season series Sunday evening. Waves took the first game 8-1. Then the Mountaineers split the series with a 5-2 win in Game 2. And it was just so nice to be at the ballpark last night and to see that. It was amazing. I loved it. And I can't wait to get back. Vermont's going to get today off. They're going to travel to Upper Valley to take on the Night Hawks for the second of 6 games in the season series. Lake Monsters, they broke open a 2-run lead to beat the Nashua Silver Knights 13-9. So the next game is going to be tomorrow against Worcester. 6:35 first pitch, 25-cent hot dog hysteria night. Wow. Got to get to one. Shout out this morning to some of our sponsors, Fecto Homes, Giroux General Transport. Boy, they're getting ready for the next course, which is going to be starting up here, the next CDL training course, in just a couple of days. If you haven't yet learned more about it, do so. It's not too late. 802-279-3325. And, of course, Washington County Mental Health. I'm wearing one of their shirts this morning. I love Washington County Mental Health. And there's an individual right next to me who absolutely loves Washington County Health as well. Gino, good morning.
Good morning, JD.
Man, I'm so happy to see you in here.
Me too.
This is your first time in the studio.
Yeah, we usually do it outside.
Yeah, right. That was the first time that I had you on aired out. We were sitting on the steps down the road a little bit.
Yeah, and then we also did the Peer Palooza.
Yeah.
Through Washington County.
That's right. You love Washington County Mental
Oh,
Health.
I love them.
Just like me. We both do.
Really love them. They've helped me out a lot.
How so?
Well, they helped me get my apartment.
Yeah.
They helped me get on meds.
Mm-hmm.
Helped me go through that program, Sunrise.
Yes.
Case manager, therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So they keep me in line.
Are you still connected with them?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I go to Sunrise probably about 3 days a week now.
Okay.
Because I'm usually at Heading Church, volunteering, doing what I need to do over there. So,
I want to. We're going to be talking about. We're going to take it to the streets this morning, even though you're sitting on this beautiful couch. But street life here in Central Vermont, and we're going to every now and then I'm going to have you on the air. We're going to do kind of a little snapshot of what the hell's going on
Yeah.
in Barre City, specifically Barre City, because you are very connected to the streets.
Every day.
You every single day, 7 days a week, and you know everybody and their brother. You
Just
do.
about.
Yeah.
And maybe some of their family members I never met.
Yeah, right.
They tell me about.
People people drive down the road and yell out to Gino.
I don't even know them.
You don't even all the time though.
Yeah, just about.
You are very, very, very well known.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your life, which has not been easy. However, you have made some great strides, and you're now really got it together now.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Tell me about it. Where did you grow up?
Lowell, Boston.
Okay.
My mom had 6 kids.
6 kids.
Yeah, raised us all on her own.
All right. So did you go to elementary school down there?
I went to elementary and middle school, and then we moved to Keene, New Hampshire. I went to the high school, and that's where I graduated in 1984.
In where, New Hampshire?
Keene.
In Keene, New Hampshire. All right. Graduated in 84.
Yes.
Those
Don't
were,
age me.
Those were good. No. Those were good years, Gino.
Oh, I loved it.
Those were good. The music was great back then. What were you listening to? A little Duran Duran?
No, it was mostly country.
Oh, you were a country girl.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I knew some of the soft rock. And it's, I was thinking about it the other day that I think, did that back in school.
Okay.
Help people.
How so?
Well, homework, if they didn't want to walk home alone, just talking.
Mm-hmm. Did
hanging
you have
out.
a lot? Did you have a lot of friends?
You kidding me? Everybody.
All right.
I had a lot of friends.
Okay. So then what? You finish up high school, and then what'd you do?
Well, I stayed with a friend of mine for a while, and then I came back to Barre, and actually I did LNA for 20 years.
You were in LNA
for 20 years.
Whereabouts?
New Hampshire.
Okay.
Here in Barre. St. Johnsbury. I did home health.
That's tough work, man. That's like
it is.
Really tough work.
Well, and then I got pregnant.
Okay.
Had my son in 1989.
And it's
Single mom.
It's his birthday.
July 3rd.
July 3rd, which is like coming up real soon here in a couple days.
Yeah, I told him the other day he was getting to be a no fart.
So all right. So you're pregnant here, and
1988, I got pregnant. Had John in 89. Single mom. Worked. Went to college.
okay. Where'd you go to college?
I went to CCV and I did my LNA, classes and stuff like that. And I actually got 99 on the written and 100 on the oral.
So you're really, frankly, kicking ass here. You're a single mom. You're going to college, and you're in an LNA.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I did home health. I did hospice. Worked in nursing homes.
And then what?
Um,
You got a little boy.
just did the best I could.
Okay.
He had everything he wanted, and if it wasn't for, my mom and my dad too helping out.
Yeah.
My dad was like amazing with John. Took him fishing and bought him, places. Went to the store, bought him, because every time I turned around, he needed new sneakers. His feet were growing too fast.
Yeah. So what happened then?
I stayed in St. Johnsbury for a while.
Okay. And John's a little kid now. He's a toddler. And how is life going?
Good.
All right. And then what?
I'm telling you, it was very hard though. Working,
Yeah.
doing my nursing, taking care of him. But you know what? That little boy got everything he wanted.
Okay. And then what happened after that? Did
Well, I went back down to New Hampshire because I was offered a job at Woodridge Nursing Home in Wolfboro,
Okay.
and stayed with a good friend of mine for a while. And so I got on my feet, got an apartment. I worked in Wolfboro, I think, I want to say almost 3 years. And then my family wanted me to come back up here, so I came back up here. And then I worked for Caledonia Home Health for 10 years.
Did everything go? Was everything going well? Were you on a?
Well, off and on. I mean, there was days that I just couldn't understand why here I am with this, child. Why did his father only has bothered with John 2 times in 36 years. And it's sad, he's a good kid. Real good kid. He has his downfalls, but everybody does. And he still comes to Mama for advice and help, which I'm always going to do. I'm never going to turn my son down.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's 50.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you.
And he knows, I did drink, but it wasn't like when he was a baby. No, never.
Yeah.
When you get older, 10, 12 years old.
What happened with the drinking? Did it get out of control?
Yes. And I had to quit my job because it was just getting, get up in the morning and have a beer, have some pot, go to work, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I loved my job. I loved what I was doing, but it was taking a toll. I mean, my son was seeing it, and I was going through all that.
But it was easier to quit the job than it was
yes,
the booze and the pot.
Pot and the pills.
And the pills.
Yeah. But, I almost, my son was about 10 or 12. No, 10, sorry. And I ended up in the psych ward. So he stayed with my brother, and it was the hardest thing for me to do. But it was either that or lose him to the state, and that was not going to happen. They would have had to fight me.
So when your son was 10, that's when we really started kicking into a gear of life getting really hard and complicated for you with addiction.
Yes.
And mental
health. And the
health.
burning and...
What's burning?
Burning my arm with cigarettes, and I guess I was just lost. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't want to have my kid go somewhere.
Yeah.
But it wasn't good for him.
Sure.
To me, yes, it was bad for me, but it was probably worse on him.
I've never, admittedly, I'm extremely ignorant with regard to understanding burning, cutting, self-harm. I don't understand it. I know that it's a real diagnosable mental illness.
It is.
That some people can never get beyond. But this, I want to ask you, like, what made you start to burn yourself with a cigarette?
I think mostly is because I wasn't, connected to Washington County mental health at the point. But, you ask sometimes, someone did ask me that one time, why do you do it? I said, if I burn my arm, then maybe the stuff that's going on will come out.
Wow.
And then I don't have to deal with it. But you know what? It was still there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think, feel the same way I do. If you cut yourself, maybe whatever you're feeling is going to drain out.
Yeah. Or distract you for a little while.
Yeah, distract you. I had blackouts. Sometimes, I didn't even know what I was doing. I used to trash my place and punch walls.
Yeah.
I just couldn't control what was going on in my head.
And when I chatted with you, when we sat out here on the streets, you told me that you had attempted suicide
Yes, a couple of times.
a couple of times.
Pills, cutting myself. I took pills and then I drank alcohol. I had to go up to the hospital and they had to pump my stomach. I had to drink that charcoal. That's not very good.
Yeah.
A few times.
Gino, what about other drugs?
I tried coke a couple of times, but that was it.
Okay.
My main thing was drinking and pills.
Okay.
Actually, a couple of years ago, they finally trusted me to take my own. I used to have one of the nurses from Washington County would have to come and deliver my pills for the day, morning and I hated it.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I was a child again,
Hmm.
and it just didn't feel right.
You, at some point, were able to get back on track. You say with much help from Washington County Mental Health, but you were able to turn the corner. And Gino, you know that is not something that happens to a lot of people that are able to turn that corner and to see the light. That doesn't happen to most. Once you get on a road, it's tough to get off.
Yeah, it is. Took me a long time.
But you got it together.
Well, you know, like I said last time, JD, you know, when I was in the homeless shelter and on the streets, my son, you know, stayed with his girlfriend, but he couldn't come over and visit his mom. We couldn't spend a lot of time together. And I said, you know what? I got to get my crap together. My son already went through enough. I don't want him to go through it the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And that was my main focus, was my kid.
You are somewhat of, now you seem like you've become somewhat of a crusader, for lack of a better term. Someone whose mission in life, goal, purpose has been to try to help others that have been on a similar road as you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all of our roads are unique, but when it comes to substance use disorder, when it comes to mental health, when it comes to homelessness, and they're all interconnected so well and tightly, unfortunately, you have a sense of relatability that is massive. And you've teamed up with the Heading Church.
Yes.
Pastor Ray.
Yes.
Tell me about Pastor Ray.
Pastor Ray, first of all, is amazing. I was at one of the community meals a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about me being out there, and Pastor Ray actually gave me a first aid kit, and it's got Narcan in it.
Okay.
I carry it every day in my backpack.
Okay.
And she checks in. Actually, Wednesday at 10 o'clock, Pastor Ray and I are going to meet. I'm starting, not a trend.
What's this?
Wooden crosses.
Are you making those?
No, somebody made them years and years ago when they redid Heading Church. He actually took a piece of the wood from Heading Church and made crosses. So, like, I gave somebody one of my favorite crosses, but it didn't matter to me. And, you know, some people are out there asking about crosses. So I talked to Pastor Ray. Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, we're going to say a prayer over the crosses. I'm going to find some string, put them in my backpack. When somebody asks me about a cross, there you go.
Wow. Just the other day, you were out Barre City Park, and you met this guy, Doc.
Yes. Actually, I just had barely met him the night before at the community meal. And we clicked right off.
You had a brief conversation with him on camera, but a long chat
About
off.
an hour and a half.
Let's can we play some of it?
Sure.
Here it is.
Ding ding, and I have emotional support cats. I have wicked PTSD, and I don't harm anybody. 14 Washington 215. But I have to get back in and get my babies, my cats,
And you're also a veteran.
yes. And went through my doctor, social worker, ding dong, and I'm homeless. And right here in the park, Barre, Vermont. Shouldn't be, obviously, but I care about people, care about babies, obviously. Yeah, I was diagnosed more likely to have Parkinson's as well. But I'm staying true with my faith, and hopefully things work out. And I'm trying to make it simple, but I've been through a lot of heck. And I want to pass on to people, please stay true to yourself. The Lord, the Creator, is always with. Didn't want us to be in heck. And
I'll tell you right now, people, this is one of the strongest guys I have ever met. He is real, he is true, and he's amazing. This is what's happening in Barre. We really need to help these people out. If you see anybody, give them a shout out and say you care.
28th of June 2025, right now. I'm Mark James too close, but I'm known as Doc, because I can smack you or I choose to save you. That's why I'm known as Doctor. So that's why I'm as Doc.
If you guys see him, give him a hand out. Give him a shake of the hand. Veteran, right here. Served our country. Homeless, he needs your help. You see him, walk over, give him a handshake, give him a prayer. I love you, Doc. Everybody take care. Bye.
Ding ding.
Wow, Gino. And when was that?
Saturday.
Okay.
I went over, well, actually, I went and grabbed coffee first. I went to Heading Church, looked around, and then I said, well, I'm going to head to the park. I saw Doc from across the street, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I'm going to go over, and that's all it took.
Yeah. Normally, that's all it does take is just an open heart, a willingness just to have a conversation with someone. And we often don't, and for various reasons, and we often can't. And we're hesitant as a society to
Yes.
to approach folks. We're not sure what their story is. We're not sure if they're high on drugs. We're not sure if they're mentally ill, if they're violent. I mean, we are protective of ourselves, as we should be. But sometimes it just takes a tiny little bit
Yes, it does.
to have a conversation with someone and learn that they're not necessarily a threat.
No, they're not.
They're not necessarily high on drugs, and that they've got a real story.
Well, you know, a lot of the homeless people I do meet, they're good people. And some of them do not do drugs. They're just down and out right now. And I actually basically can walk up to anybody and say, hey, how's it going? You guys having a good day today? And, you have to set your boundaries, yes. Now, if you see someone that is high or anything like that, just wave. Say, how's it going? Let them come to you.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday I waited like within an hour to feel out how Doc was and I was to get that connection. And we got along great. And I asked him, can I interview you for Air Out? And I explained to him what it was. I showed him a little bit of what you and I did on my phone. And I said, well, you don't have to use your real name. And I said, and I don't even have to show you. I'll put it on where it just shows me. And he said, no, that's fine. Tape me. I'll use Doc. And then before we started, I said, it's your lead. You tell me what you want to say.
Some people are very up for speaking publicly, and
Yes,
and
Doc is one of them.
yeah.
I already talked to him.
There's plenty others
Yes.
that are not.
Well, I think what it is, JD, you got to approach him at a certain time.
Yeah,
Talk to him for a while,
sure.
and then kind of like slowly put it in there,
Yeah,
like
right.
I did yesterday.
Yeah. What do you know about Brandon Carbo?
I know that he's still in jail, and I really hope that when he gets out, he'll stay on the straight and narrow. But the only thing is, you just have to wait and see. He's going to have to make that choice, not anybody else.
What got him into jail?
I'm not sure because when you're on the street, you hear so many stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I just listen and, one person will say, well, Brandon went to jail for this, or he went to jail for that. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Clearly, he was still using. In the weeks that followed my brief sit down with him, I saw him several times.
Yeah.
And he was clearly impaired. And a few times right up close. And he didn't recognize me. But there's a lot of feelings that get evoked from this, from so many of us in the community. And we see it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And we see it on Facebook all the time. Primarily, it seems like there's a sector of us that is very angry.
Yes.
We're frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
We have lost our tolerance for this. We've had enough. It's a situation that has grown out of control right here in our immediate city, but in other surrounding communities as well. Vermont as a whole, the country. And we have a lot of finger pointing that's going on. A lot of reasoning behind this situation, this drug epidemic, homeless epidemic. Here in Vermont, we have our own problems, which are not necessarily unique to other states, but man, we've got some stuff that's pretty stacked up high.
Yeah. But you know what? It's like,
a lot of things.
what do we do? And I have connected with Turning Point. They gave me some flyers, which I've given out. And 2 Fridays ago, after the community meal, they have a class for addiction upstairs.
Yeah.
The room was full. Now, I don't know if it's because they see what's going on with people ODing and dying,
Yeah.
or is it a combination of me talking to them
Yeah.
and giving them the flyers? But I tell you what, when I saw that room full,
Yeah.
I had a tear.
Sure. And
I knew them all.
there's a few programs like, I mean, the Phoenix right here on Summer Street, right in the Wellness Building.
Yep.
Is another one. The other sentiment that we see and hear so much on social media, along with, it seems, primarily frustration and anger. We see a lot of that emotion. I'm moving out of here. I'm pulling my family up. We're getting the hell out of here. Blah blah blah. And again, there's always plenty of finger pointing. It's the city's fault. It's the police's fault. The police is understaffed. The laws aren't tough enough. We need more. We need more cameras. We need the. There's just, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
And then there's another side that is folks who are empathetic, who just want people to be better,
Yes.
to get better, to be more productive, to have a purpose, to have some drive, some hope that
Something to look forward to.
Yeah, it's hope. It's hope
It is.
that they will turn their lives around.
Well, there has been a couple that has, with me being out there.
Well, but you're one of them, Gino.
Yes.
You're one of them. However, and I'm just being real here, folks like you are few and far between. It's not the majority of people like you who have turned their lives around, gotten clean, gotten sober, got an apartment. It's just not the majority. And I think there's a real sense of discouragement that many of us feel in
of course.
Not just here in Barre, but surrounding communities as well.
Well,
that we're losing the fight, and it's getting worse. It has been for quite a while now. Not just since COVID, pre-COVID, but maybe COVID shifted stuff into a different gear. I don't know, but there's folks out there that are either totally intolerant of this, or they have hope. They want something, either more programs, which, I mean, my gosh, Gino, we have so many programs around here.
Yeah, and I've been telling them about Turning Point.
It's Turning Point. It's Phoenix.
Yep.
I mean, look at the churches. Look at Enough Ministries. Look at Heading.
Oh, yeah, they know about Heading.
I mean, there's just Washington County Mental Health, Capstone. I mean, my God. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, there's so many programs right here in just within walking distance to turn your life around, to get better.
Well, a couple of Fridays ago, I talked to, a couple of people I know, and this kid is about 23 maybe. Talking to him for the last month, he hooked up with Washington County.
Good.
And he's waiting for a case manager. I told him about Sunrise.
Okay.
And when we did the prayer,
yeah,
he actually took his hat off at the meal. And then I looked at all the other guys, and they took their hats off. They knew.
Yeah.
They knew. Gino will tell them.
The thing The thing I love about you is your personality. You've got a cheeky laugh. You got a smile on your face. You're always up for a hug. You're positive. You're full of hope. Do you also feel frustration?
Yes. But you know what? I don't like to show it. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and talk to people. I call them kids, in their 20s. They are kids. They're younger than my son. And I don't want to go out there being down. They're already down and out. We laugh, we talk, and we still, to this day, hug each other and say, I love you. I can't do that. I'm not going to go out there and be angry and frustrated. They don't need that. They're already going through enough.
Yeah. Just got a comment here. I'm going to read this. JD, the drugs are too strong, and some people are just born victims.
I don't know. There is a lot more stuff that's going into the crack. That's the word on the street. And it's making it harder and harder now with I think someone said there's like 3 drugs being put into the crack now. So basically the addiction is going to be higher. To me, that's what I feel.
All you have to do is is glance through local news, and you see plenty of busts that are happening. Not just here in Barre City, man, but it's like even in the outskirts, even out in the country.
Yep.
We have plenty of folks who are living in our community who don't have roots here. They've come up here with a sole purpose to distribute and to make a lot of money.
I know, and it's sad.
And it's not just coming out of Springfield, Massachusetts.
New York, New Jersey.
New York and New Jersey.
Massachusetts.
Yeah. And now I've heard about a new line coming from the east, coming off of the coast, New Hampshire. That's coming across into Vermont. So,
oh, great.
There's rings everywhere. I think we all know that.
Yes.
But it seems like, we get a bust here, we get a bust there. But then there's 3 more that have not been discovered yet.
Well, that's just it. I mean, if somebody gets busted, okay, who's to say that not within a couple of days they got a new batch? How much more do you bust people and bust people and bust people? I mean, it's out there. I mean, everybody that, is doing it or whatever, they'll find their way.
Yeah.
They'll find their way.
I see your short. Your shirt. You are
John 3:16, one of my favorite scriptures.
Go ahead.
It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only begotten Son." Hold on. That whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
When did you find faith? What was the...
I think I always had the faith.
You did.
But a couple of years ago, I think it was a Heritage Festival. I was walking around, came up to this table, and there was Pastor Ray. And I believe my friend Pat was there. And we just started talking. And Pastor Ray said, well, why don't you come check out the church? Zam, 2 years later. Oh, I have a quick story. Can I say it real quick?
Absolutely, please.
A couple of weeks ago, when it was one of those hot days,
Yep.
my friend Pat and her husband bought 2 cases of water. Left it at the park. I went over, handed out water, made sure I told everybody, do not throw your water bottle out because there is places where you can fill them. And then I put some of the water in my backpack and went over to the library. Amazing. Amazing people. No, it's not just me. I mean, you got Pastor Ray, Pat, you got Phyllis, who's a coordinator. So people can go there and say, I need help maybe with this or that. The diaper depot, the food shelves, and the community meals. So it's more, we have the saying, we don't go to church, we are the church. And it's that kind of connection in the church. We're family too. And we want to help. And just because we go to church does not mean that we don't feel it. We pray. Well, Pastor Ray says a prayer every Sunday for the homeless, people who are addicted. And Saturday, when I gave Doc the necklace I had on, I had just gotten this cross. We prayed, I put it on him, and he cried. Actually, I found him a hat. He was in the United States Army, and he was airborne. So I found him a hat. It says United States Army, brand new. And you know what? That's going on his head.
He's going to love that.
It's going to go on his head.
Like this morning.
I will put it on his head.
Like this morning.
I'm not sure yet. I got to go back to my house first. But I'm taking that winter hat off him and putting this on him. He deserves it.
You found Doc in the park yesterday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday. You got a chance to chat with him for well over an hour.
Yes.
Have you told him about the Heading Church?
I told him about Heading Church.
Okay.
Actually, he went to the community meal Friday night.
All right.
That's how I met him.
How often is that community meal?
Every Friday.
Every Friday.
Except for this Friday because of the holiday.
Okay. And what time does that start?
Doors open at 4. Meal starts at 5:30.
Okay. Anyone's welcome.
Anybody. No matter who you are, what you are, it doesn't matter to the Heading Church.
Okay. Are you doing something with Pastor Ray where you're having a meeting or
Wednesday. Yeah, we're going to get together and we're going to bless the crosses. Well, Pastor Ray, and then I'm going to find some string and put them in my bag. And then when I'm out there, when someone says, hey, Gino, you got a cross? Here you go.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm wearing one today.
Okay. Are you going to have some type of group meeting with
Yes.
people?
Pastor Ray wants to come up with a class on peer ministry. So me and my friend Pat is going to do it and a couple other people.
Okay. So that hasn't started yet?
No. Her schedule's pretty busy right now.
Where would that be held?
At the church.
Right at the church.
So, I just mentioned it to Pastor Ray yesterday about crosses. I texted her. She sent me a picture. I already knew they were there. But she's been holding on to me. She said, meet me here Wednesday, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
We will put our hands on it. She'll say a prayer. And then they're mine to take out.
Wednesdays here on Aired Out, we always hit hard on the subject of hope with Sweethearts and Heroes every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. And we're going to do that again this coming Wednesday. And I look forward to having Loudon on the air with me. But how do you feel about that word, hope?
Hope? I believe there's hope for anybody. Um, and when I was an addict, I kind of gave up my faith because I didn't think, why God am I going through this? Why aren't you helping me? And I gave it up. And then, like I said, when I met Pastor Ray that day at the Heritage Festival, something just clicked. 2 years later, here I am, heading church. Every Sunday I go to church. I help of getting people clothes. I go to the community meals and walk around, talk to people. I go to the church maybe a couple days a week to go and see if there's any donations that I need to put on the table. Where people come in for their meals is clothes, and they take what they need.
How do you get around? Do you drive?
Walk. You know what I told somebody one day? I took my shoes and socks off and started walking around. And okay, Gino, why do you have your socks and shoes off? I said, well, first of all, I don't like them. My feet got hot. I said, you want to know something else? Jesus walked with no shoes and did what he needed to do.
You gave a pair of shoes that you were wearing that were brand new.
Yep, just had bought them. Actually, it was the first day I put them on. Gave them to this girl that was homeless. Flip-flops were broken. Gave them to her. And then I walked home in my socks. And at that point, I look at it like, I can get another pair. They can't. I've given out shirts. I've given out jackets, gloves, hats. Took them right off me. Well, not my shirt, JD. Let's back that one up.
Hey. Easy now.
This is a clean show.
Hey.
But, I've taken off winter gloves, my winter hat, and gave somebody that was cold. My winter coat. Walked home in the cold. Actually, I was sitting out here the other day when it was pouring raining out. Got soaked. I didn't care. I mean, yes, a lot of people are, saying, well, they made the choice to be where they are right now. But we don't know that. We don't know what their history is, their background. How did they get there? And I'm not judgmental. I can't be. And like I said, we don't know what happened in their life and every day to get to where they are. And the thing is they tell me certain things. I keep it to myself. I don't go around and say, well, this one said that, and this one said that, and this one said that. Oh, another quick one. I ran into this kid. I think I had mentioned it to you a couple of weeks ago when I came in to check out your studio. His cousin, 13 years old. And he was sitting on the turf. I call it the turf, where you and I met. Had his head down, which was unusual. So I sat down next to him and asked him what was going on. He had tears come out of his eyes. Cousin, 13-year-old little boy, a baby. It happened in Chicago, but you know what? It still got to me because I know this kid. His 13-year-old cousin was hanging out with a bunch of teenagers. And the teenagers gave this little boy fentanyl. I don't know if he knew what it was or what he didn't know what it was. He OD'd. He died right there. Yes, it happened in Chicago, but it still got to my heart. This is my friend's little cousin, a baby. And even if you see it on the news, kids getting hurt, whatever the situation is, it don't matter if they live here in Barre. It touches you. Especially the ones that have children. You don't want that to happen to their child. And I prayed. I prayed for that little boy. And I don't even know him. It was the story. And I thought about him when I went home that night. You know, I thought about my son when he was 13. I couldn't not imagine. To tell you the truth, JD, I couldn't. 13 years old. Died right there.
It's just unfathomable.
And I tell you, I had tears coming out of my eyes. And my friend, I just held on to him. And he cried on my shoulder. Of course, that made it worse. And then the tears really were coming down. And I tried to be tough. But then everybody's like, come on, Gino, you're also a teddy bear.
Yeah. And this is someone who's right here in our community?
Yes. I don't want to give no names. You know
Yeah,
that.
of course not.
Yep.
Have you seen this
Yes, I
person
have.
since? Okay.
Yeah, I saw him the other day, and he's doing good.
Okay.
He's clean. I don't know if maybe, you know, I can't per se, but maybe what happened to his cousin kind of put a little trigger in his mind. But all I know is he cried. Now, that's a heart, and he's homeless.
You had a great point when you said that we all have different stories and different circumstances that can lead up to homelessness, and that sometimes mental health is connected to that. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes substance use disorder is connected to that. Sometimes it's not.
Now,
But
I don't know.
We all have a story.
Yeah, we
Gino.
do. And I think maybe sometimes it could be environment, the way they were brought up. I mean, if you're brought up in an addictive family, that's all you knew.
You and I think every time we chat, we're going to be bringing up the subject of hope and prayer and belief, optimism.
You have to.
But also, one of the big takeaways for me in my first conversation with you is that no matter who you are or what your problem may be, whether it's too much drinking, whether it's too much eating, whether it's too much gambling, whether it's drugs, no matter what it is, all of the programs and all of the support systems can be there and in place for you. And all of the hands in the world can reach out to you and guide you. But it doesn't matter unless you have a very, very deep commitment to wanting to change. That if you want that badly enough, then you can tap into these programs and you can tap into the church and you can receive the hand of someone who's got an outreach to you to help.
I always say baby steps.
But you've got to want it. It's more than you've just got to want it. You've got to want it badly enough. It seems. I don't know because I'm not addicted to anything. I've never experienced this.
Well, I think it's also because I think it comes from caring. You have to show them that somebody out there cares whether they live or die. Friday night there was a girl there. I know her. Of course, I know a lot of people, but
You know everybody.
and she was sitting at the table eating. I sat down next to her, and we were talking. Then one of the ladies from the church came up and talked to her. Then one of the ladies from Turning Point. So when they were done talking, I started talking. And she told me she doesn't want to do it no more. I said, well, I don't want you to do it anymore either. I said, but when you see me on the streets, you can come talk to me. We'll find a way. And I said, I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I said, I don't want you to be a statistic. I don't want to lose you next. She said she doesn't want to die. And that, a lot of things does touch my heart. But at that moment, I felt like I was melting in the chair. I said, come to me. We'll talk.
How many friends have you lost, and how many people that?
Well,
that
I
you
know there's been a lot of. I'm not sure the statistics, but I know Turning Point knows. And right at the moment, I've not personally, but 14.
Look at what we are seeing on social media. People taking out their phones and videotaping locally. Just the Barre, Vermont resident chat page alone.
Yeah, I know I'm on there.
People nodding off in their cars.
Yep.
Presumably as a result of some drug use.
Yes.
I mean,
I saw that.
We're seeing video of people stumbling around, the zombie walk. There's theft. There's desperation to keep feeding the addiction. And all of this stuff is interconnected.
Yes.
Crime, drugs, mental health, homelessness,
Yep.
and the list goes on.
But I can also understand everybody else's point of view, that they're scared. I get scared sometimes, but I kind of have to put it aside or put it away, and I don't blame, families for being scared. You have children, you have grandchildren, you have yourself. Protect.
Are Barre City streets safe to walk?
To me, it is. But maybe to a lot of others, they do have that fear. And I don't blame them. You see it all the time, JD, like you said on media. How is people supposed to feel when they hear it on the street that people are getting jacked? I just heard the other day that another kid that I know actually told me yesterday he got jacked. He got punched in the eye and a knife to his throat. And they stole his stuff to see if he had any drugs. He looked terrible. I checked his throat. I checked his eye. And he was okay. But he was very shaken up. So, it's not just the homeless and the addiction that are doing this out with businesses and families. Now they're jacking each other.
We hear about all of this aggressive panhandling around.
Oh yeah, I know a few of them.
What do you say to them?
Well, one of them said, "Oh, guess what, Gino? I made $40 yesterday being on the street panhandling." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "For what?" Food. And this person does this every day asking people for money and cigarettes. And I got to the point I stopped. You know, if you're out there panhandling money for drugs, you're taking away.
And cigarettes.
Hey.
I know you're a smoker.
But it's like, you know, like, I'm not being mean, but it's also taken away from those that have to support their own family.
And work hard.
And work hard.
And are often struggling quietly.
Yes. Hey, I struggle.
To put gas in the car.
I struggle. But you know what? I keep it to myself. The only one I talk to about my struggleness is heading church. I don't let anybody else know out there. I can't. I'm not going to go out in the streets and feel bad for myself. Because you know what? I'm in a good position right now. Let's help other people.
Have you seen some of these traveling gypsies?
Yes. I got hit up one day. Said, excuse me, ma'am. I'm like, what's up? You know, and he goes, you got $20? I need get a tow for my car. And you know what I did? I looked at him. I know who you are. Don't do that to me. Because I'm not giving you money. And now your story has been changing. And now he's got his girlfriend doing the same thing. And I told him, I said, don't ever approach me again.
This guy, I can't remember his name, but he's everywhere.
Yes.
And I also can't remember who it was, but somebody videotaped.
Yes, I saw that.
You know, be vigilant, folks. You know, keep your eyes open.
Keep your distance when you talk to him,
distance,
too.
yeah.
Arm length. But I gave it to him. I told him, I know who you are.
What do you do?
You can't play it with me.
What did he say?
He goes, well, do you have at least $5? I said, no, I just told you. I know who you are. You can't play with Gino. So I suggest you need to walk away, buddy. Oh, okay, but thank you, ma'am. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
You're out here doing what you're doing, but you're trying to be nice.
And don't call me ma'am, because I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, I'm not a ma'am.
Right. I'll put you in a chokehold.
Yep. But he was shocked when I put my finger at him and said, I know who you are. And the thing was, he goes, oh, it's not me, it's Carbo. I said, you know what, dude? Carbo's been in jail. Stop blaming him because you've been found. You've been seen. People have seen you in videos. Why are you playing it?
Yeah. I understand Carlos Perez is out.
I haven't seen him.
Did some time up in St. Jay. There's an aggressive panhandler right there. That's a bad dude.
But you know what? I haven't seen him at all.
Interesting.
And I'm out there every day, JD. Maybe sometimes twice a day.
Do you know when Carbo's getting out?
No, I don't.
You haven't heard anything on the streets?
No.
When you do, will you let me know?
Yeah.
I'd like to sit down with him again.
You know, I hope and pray, Brandon, you get out of jail. You already went through the withdrawals. Keep it straight, buddy.
Sometimes 30, 60, 90 days, it's
like rehab. Sorry, but it is.
But sometimes it's not enough.
No.
And sometimes coming out of jail just makes you want to purge, for lack of a better term. Sometimes. Maybe more often than not. I don't know. Never been to jail. Don't know.
Me either. Imagine that.
Have you been to jail?
Nope.
Wow.
No. You know, I think everything changed. Not everything. The day my son was born. I didn't want to fight. I was a fighter. A runner. Not anymore. I can't. If I go out and fight, take off every time I have a problem, what is that showing to the folks out there that I'm trying to help?
Yeah.
I can't. And it's to the point, I'm going to be 59 pretty soon here. And, it's time for me to just keep on putting my foot down and say, Gino, you can't. Look at the people out there. And when I get a thought in my head like that, you know what I do? I come down street and look at the people, my friends that sit with me. One of them, girl, 2 months, no crack. And she feels a lot better.
2 months?
Yep.
That's a long time.
Yep. Another guy, a month, got his job back. I told him, keep it up, because Gino, I will find you.
Wow.
And kick your butt.
I think it's remarkable that you're able to sit down and have these conversations with folks that are struggling with life. So many of us are. And it's constant work, no matter no matter who you are, where you are, or what's going on in your life. I mean,
hey, I struggle.
I
struggle every day because I can go back and be an addict again. But my mind right now is focused on, of course, always my son, heading church, being out there for people. What would that say to them? They see me now, the Gino, trying to help them. If they see me on the streets messed up, hey,
yeah, right.
Let's follow Gino. Hey, she's our buddy, Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Do not want to do that.
How many years have you been clean?
9. No drugs, no pills.
9 years?
Well, yeah, because, like I said, I've been to the hospital before and had my stomach pumped. And they made me drink charcoal, and that was the worst thing they ever gave me.
Have you ever OD'd?
Yes, and that's why they had to pump my stomach.
Okay.
But I heard they don't do that much anymore, but I don't know. Like I said, when you're on the street, you hear one thing, and then you hear another thing. You just listen. You don't say, oh, yeah, right, you're wrong. Oh, yeah, right. You don't do that. Let them talk. Let them tell their story. If it's true or not, does it really matter? Does it really matter? Let them say what they want to say. It's their life, their story. I've had mine.
It's what we need to do, Gino, is listen more. It's what we need to do.
I sit out there, JD, could be an hour. I sat out there one day for 3 hours to just talk to people. And, and I try to get out there in the morning. Actually, I've been checking a couple more spots. Courthouse, the park, City Park, Courier Park. I'm still at my turf.
Where's your turf?
You know where it is. We sat there.
I know where it is.
Smoke shop.
Okay.
Across from Wobbly Julia. And now I'm going behind the churches, then behind the library. One day I did almost 10,000 steps just doing this. And I have a bad hip and a leg, but I did it. Yes, I was sore that night, but you know what? The pain was good. I don't like pain, but the pain was good.
I'd like to join up with you on one of these Friday night meals.
I think that'd be awesome.
And see you in action. And see Pastor Ray in action.
And all the other ladies that cook.
Yeah.
We'll go around and say, did you have enough? Do you need any more? Do you want to talk about? So, when you go to the community meals, it's, like I said, it's a lot of the church members. And we all volunteer.
Sure.
It's a volunteer program to help.
Yeah.
Some of the ladies from the kitchen will bring plates over to those who cannot walk. So it's a group of us.
Shout out to Heading. Shout out to
My homegirls.
And enough ministries. I mean,
Yes.
what they do on Tuesdays and Thursdays over there, but what they do 7 days a week also for our community is remarkable.
Yeah, all the girls that heading church that, that I hang with and help out, I call them my homegirls. Hey, homegirls, how's it going? Gino's here.
Gino, you're a trip, man. I love chatting with you.
I love chatting with you, JD.
You're an inspiration, and God bless you. And let's do this again too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's hook up and do some stuff together. Okay.
All right.
You really are. I've known you, my God, for.
It has to be about 18 years or so. I knew you before you had your daughter.
You knew me at the beginning of Froggy, which
Oh yeah, Froggy, that's right.
It was 2000. So that's 25 years.
Years ago.
God.
Yeah, because you and I hooked up one day about talking about all the videos I did on Sherry Lamperton.
Yes, yeah.
On YouTube.
God, I remember.
There's 20 of them.
Great memories.
Oh yeah.
Great memories. Thanks, Gino. Thanks for coming in here.
Hey everybody, please have hope, have faith.
Yeah.
Come see me when you see me. I love you all.
And thanks for liking and following the page. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for sharing this episode. We're always live. We're always local. We're never edited. And we're seen and heard not only on Facebook Live, but also on YouTube, right here from Fly on the Wall Productions, Barre, Vermont. Streamed everywhere you get your podcasts too. And on the web at airedoutVT.com. Thanks for keeping it real, raw, relevant.
Hey, you said real.
I
yes.
did. And relatable. Relatable. You got to put that in there, too.
That's right.
Gino, you're amazing. You're
Thank
such
you.
an inspiration. We love you. God bless you.
You too.